To me, if it's played the way I like it, the different parts of it suggest the way a drunken sailor walks down the street.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got that from it or not.
Yeah.
But that's what I was trying to
Tom
get
looks like
across.
he's dressed like a drunken sailor today. So, Dave, I'm sorry about the recording. I was just kind of slow on the draw, and then I didn't want to turn it on and disconcert you with that,
Just as
announcement
well.
in the middle.
Made all those mistakes on it. So
It's a tricky tune,
oh
David.
God,
I
yes.
admire you for taking on, because
if you,
these pipe tunes are all like that, especially hornpipes. They just are unrelenting, and you can't miss any notes because you don't get to pause anywhere. It just goes boom straight to the
it's
end.
kind of a domino theory of concertina. Becomes a train wreck. Yeah. Anyway, Dave, if you want to do that again for the recording at some point, you're perfectly welcome to.
Maybe next time.
Okay, for now we'll move along to Rory.
All right. So I'm going to play pipes. I play two tunes. One is called Dark Island. It sounds very old, but it's not. Well, I guess it's old. It was written in the 60s for a TV show called Dark Island. And it's a lovely air. And then I'll follow that up with Donald McLean's Farewell to Oban. And the story behind that is there was two Donald McLeans. There was Big Donald McLean and there was Wee Donald McLean. And this was Big Donald McLean, both fine pipers. Oban is one of the great competitions that's been going on for over 100 years, where you get a gold medal from the Piping Society if you win, and then you can't compete again. You can only compete in the former winners. Everyone said that Big Donald McLean had won the competition, but the judge came up with somebody else. And in good Scottish style, he took umbrage and said, "I'm never coming back here again." And he didn't. And there was a fellow there, the blind piper, Archie McNeil, and he had a tune in his box, which is a gorgeous one I'm going to play for you, and it's called Donald McLeod's Farewell to, Donald McLean's Farewell to Oban.
I was astray.
I'm impressed.
Realized I was unmuted the whole time. Hopefully, I wasn't making any noise.
Nope, not that I
You
heard.
wouldn't have heard me.
Like
Ah,
very much.
lovely. So, Mary Jane, you got one for us?
I do. And today since this is the 3rd of July and tomorrow's the 4th, I can't play 4th of July songs because this is the Celtic thing, but I've found some Irish struggle songs, which I consider to be sort of like Irish independence songs. This one's called The Patriot Game. It might be the best known of the lot. Come on, you young rebels, enlist while I sing. For the love of one's country is a terrible thing. It banishes fear like the speed of a flame, and it makes you a part of the patriot game. My name is O'Hanlon. I've just turned 16. My home is in Monaghan, where I was weaned. I've been told all my life cruel England's to blame. So I am a part of the patriot game. It's barely 2 years since I wandered away with a local battalion of the bold IRA. I read about heroes and I wanted the same, for to play up my part in the patriot game. This Ireland of mine has for long been half free. 6 counties are under John Bull's monarchy, and most of our leaders are greatly to blame for shirking their part in the patriot game. They told me how Connolly was shot in his chair. His wounds from the fighting all bleeding and bare. His fine body twisted, all battered and lame. They soon made me part of the patriot game. And now as I lie with my body all whole, I think of those traitors who bargained and sold. I'm sorry my rifle has not done the same to the quislings who sold out the patriot game. That's to the tune of an Irish traditional song called The Merry Month of May.
Ah,
And of course,
And the
Bob
words-
Dylan glued onto it and did a song to this tune.
Dominic Bean wrote
Oh
that.
yeah, Dominic being
Brendan was his brother.
1961.
And they were both actually part of the IRA in the 50s and 60s. And Brendan, in fact, was sent to juvenile uh, prison in
That's where he wrote
England.
Postal Boy.
Yeah, for his activities. There's one thing about that song that you should know, and that is that Dominic Behan was really quite irate with people who recorded it and left out this, what he felt was an important verse. And it goes like this: I don't mind a bit if I shoot down police. They're lackeys for war, never guardians of peace. But yet at deserters I never let aim, those rebels who sold out the patriot game.
Whoa, that's good work.
Yeah, I never
Most
saw
of the
that
recordings, most of the covers leave that verse out, which he was extremely irate about. Another thing he was irate about was the way Bob Dylan adapted it for "With God on Our Side,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he called Dylan up on the phone when he was in England and told him he was, ripping off his song.
Yep.
And Dylan said something like, "Well, we'll get our lawyers to settle it." And Behan said, "I've got 2 lawyers in there at the end of my arms."
The Irish.
the kind of
I
guy he
heard that
was.
If
story.
it was
That's
an old
great.
traditional tune anyway,
Yeah.
Right.
they've had a
Yeah.
hard time in court.
The thing that was the same was the tune. The words are completely different. So sorry.
Just another side note here on Irish history. The Connolly that was shot in a chair was one of the participants in the 1916 Rising, and he'd been wounded in the battle, and they brought him, he was condemned to death by firing squad. They brought him into the execution grounds on a stretcher and strapped him into a chair to be shot by the firing squad because he couldn't stand up. So that's the reference in that verse about Connolly, who was shot in a chair.
Wow, that's English justice.
It was, yes. Anyway, interesting song for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So,
I'm never
Tom,
quite sure about whether he was totally serious or whether he was critiquing his own experience to a certain extent.
Right.
I think he was doing a bit of both. To those quislings who sold out the Patriot game.
Oh, and our leaders, the original verse was De Valera is greatly to blame. Eamon de Valera, who at one time was the head
So
of
it's a mixed bag of grievance, but a very powerful song nonetheless.
That's right.
Good one.
So, Tom, I particularly appreciated your missive of the week in the email, unless I've fallen behind.
Oh, wow,
Any
that's
War
wonderful.
Piece, was it? It was good.
Yeah. It's for all the folk artists. And I was sorry I missed Mary Jane because I was doing another poetry Zoom yesterday. I missed her 3 Independence Day one. So I wrote one today for her. It's called Happy Interdependence Day. Those fireworks like COVID, they came from China. The president of Ukraine, he is a pop star. There are poets and dissidents inside Russia, while China threatens Taiwan and all her ergers. Half of America has no bodily autonomy, all seeking transgendering, told the same, it seems. Children are slaughtered in their elementary classrooms, while rights of gun owners are totally claimed. We are all linked. Indigenous, refugees, migrants, days of white patriarchy now gone. We are the new minority and must learn how this new world is a folk song. Folk it is, in different languages, no subtitles nor dub allowed. This is the time to relearn indigenous languages, release wolf into wilderness, reverse oil and gas dynasties for ever renewable ones. Change has come. India bans single-use plastics for 1.6 billion souls. New young energies released to replace the tired, the defeated, and the too old. Folk update. Thank you, Mary Jane, for stimulating that.
Thank you.
Oh,
You sound a little hoarse today. Are you all
I am a
right?
little pony. Yes, I am. It's true.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm still communicating in the verbal manner, hopefully, colloquially.
Okay. Well,
Thanks for doing it.
I'll remember Little Pony, but I will footnote you from now on whenever I use.
yeah,
You're
that's
welcome.
I don't know if you've ever heard me sing Mac McClintock's "Ain't We Crazy." There's a verse in that's uh, a man slept in a stable and came out a little hoarse.
Same joke, different generation.
That's right. But of good pedigree. It's a wobbly joke by a
It
guy.
is. Long live Wobblies. Thank
Okay,
you.
let's see. I guess it's up to me for a minute. And this is kind of after all this Irish patriotism, I'm going to do an English song because that's what I know. I suppose it's better than my Celtic cowboy songs and blueses. My latest project is I'm learning to do slide guitar. There's not much Celtic slide. I don't know if anybody does that on the Celtic side of the pond. So, okay, so here's a well-known old war horse. If I can get my lyrics up here. Hello. Days run. Oh, there's the button. Had it upside down. Okay. Come on. Sorry for the interruption here. Oh, there they are. There are not many verses to this. I probably shouldn't bother with my cheat sheets, but here we go. Young women, they run like hares on the mountains. Young women, they run like hares on the mountain. If I were a young man, I'd soon go a hunting. To me whack, fall a diddle day, roll to me whack, fall a diddle day. Young women, they sing like birds in the bushes. Young women, they sing like birds in the bushes. And if I were a young man, I'd go beat them bushes. To me whack, paw diddle day, roll, whack, paw diddle day. Young women, they swim like ducks in the water. Young women, they swim like ducks in the water. And if I were a young man, I soon would swim after. Right, paw diddle day, row, right, paw diddle day. There you go. young women, they bloom like laurel in springtime. Young women, they bloom like laurel in springtime. And if I were a young man, I'd soon go and pluck some to me right fall-a-diddle-day row, right fall-a-diddle-day. Young women, they run like hares on the mountain. Young women, they run like hares on the mountain. And if I were a young man, I'd soon go a-hunting. Right fall-a-diddle-day row, right fall-a-diddle-day.
That's as English as you get.
Yes, it is.
Hunting and sex. Just needs
Sally,
a
my
bit of
dear, it's you I'd be kissing. Oh, Sally, my dear, it's you I'd be kissing. She laughed and replied, you don't know what you're missing.
Love it, raunchy.
That's
Okay.
that's the least improper of the verses I know.
Well, David, you're going to do something good and improper now?
I don't know about that, but this is a poem by Gary Snyder that I really like in relationship to Independence Day.
I love Gary Snyder.
Yeah, he's really great. Now, if I could come up with a tune,
Indeed.
I could sing this. Anybody has any suggestions, let me know. He called this For All. Ah, to be alive on a mid-September morn, fording a stream, barefoot, pants rolled up, holding boots, pack on, sunshine, ice in the shallows, northern Rockies. Rustle and shimmer of icy creek waters, stones turn underfoot, small and hard as toes, cold nose dripping. Singing inside, creek music, heart music, smell of sun on gravel. I pledge allegiance to the soil of Turtle Island and to the beings who thereon dwell, one ecosystem in diversity under the sun with joyful interpenetration for all.
Gary, you did it again. Wonderful. Well
That's a
presented.
great, great poem.
Yeah.
One for our times. God damn it.
That's right. So what kind of a tune would go with that?
I don't know. I have to think about that.
I'll look it up. There's
One
a
of us
meter
will
there.
get- One of us will get an inspiration, I'm sure. Yeah. So, Rory, can you give us another?
Yeah. This is a song I've known for a long time. One of Burns' most famous songs. He didn't write it, he collected it. He said he went out on a bright June morning and he heard this girl singing this song out by the hay stacks. And he ran home to write it down. We would have lost it except for that rush home to write it down, keeping it in his head. My love is like a red, red rose. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody so sweetly played in tune. And fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my the sea's gone dry, though all the sea's gone dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, and I will love thee still, my dear, though the sands of life shall run, and fare thee well, my only love, and fare thee weal a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles, though it were 10,000 miles, my love, though it were 10,000 miles, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles.
Robbie Burns,
Robbie, the man.
12 hedgerow children, 12.
Yep. And the women all loved him.
They did.
And his wife, Jean Armour, brought some of the kids up. He was, there's this great little story about him. He'd be talking to his friends. He was a great talker. He was well loved by all his mates hanging out in the bar. By the way, he wasn't a very good drunk because he would be drunk on one glass of whiskey. He just couldn't hold it.
Right.
But they said he'd be talking intently about something or other, and a woman walk in the room. Robbie was off. He was off chatting her up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anyway, great guy.
Great.
Terry muted himself.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I think
we're
we are.
arranged in order.
It looks like some of us are frozen. Is Dave frozen?
No?
Everybody's up. Oh, there you go. Okay, it might have been me. Okay, so but instead it was you. Okay, Mary Jane, you're on.
Okay. This song is called The Old Triangle, and it was included in Brendan Behan's play The Queer Fellow. But according to the internet, he didn't write it. It's supposedly a guy named Dick Shannon wrote it. And, this, I just got this off of the internet, but the internet swore that this was true. that it even comes from Brendan Behan himself, that he didn't write it.
Yeah, Brendan Behan said he didn't write it, and he wanted, and he said the poor fellow that wrote it probably will never hear it because he doesn't have a gramophone.
And it was appropriated by Australian folk music as a standard in pubs, the old triangle.
Yeah, well, I first heard it on a St. Patrick's Day down at the Dog and Duck pub in Central Austin. But I always liked it, but I finally decided I wanted to learn it. I've been trying to learn some Irish songs, because we've got this thing going. But I've included it in this because, one, because I just learned it. And also, it's about a guy in prison. It's not clear what he's in for, but it's probably a prison run by the English. So I figured it would be appropriate for this series of songs, Irish struggle songs. We don't know whether he deserves to be there or not from the words of the song. A hungry feeling came o'er me stealing, and the mice were squealing in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. in the morning, the water falling. Get up, you loser, and clean up yourself. And that old triangle with jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Now the screw was peeping, and the lag lay sleeping, while he lay weeping for his girl Sal. And that old triangle with jingle jangle all along the bank of the Royal Canal. Oh, the wind was rising and the day declining. His eye lay pining in my prison cell. And that old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. The day was dying, and the wind was sighing. His eye lay crying in my prison cell. And that old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. In the female prison, there are 70 women, and I wish it was with them that I did dwell. Then that old triangle could go jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal.
Love that. There's
Yes.
another.
Great job.
Great song, yeah.
Great job.
I was surfing around YouTube one day, and I came up with a rendition of that by a group of very, very young, very fresh-faced, clean-cut Irish lads.
Yeah.
And they were very good. They did these marvelous harmonies and everything, but it was just so incongruous, you know,
That's right.
all these hard lyrics and all those sweet-looking
Yeah.
boys, and especially when it came to the part where they're singing about the women's prison. I think the one that did the solo on that can't have been more than 12.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's probably
Contrast.
pretty weird with me singing it too, but
No,
if
well,
I had
no,
to stick with women's songs,
You're
I'd have
fine.
a lot
You're
less
fine.
songs to sing.
I mean, you know, who knows what the Irish preferences were in those days. So, Tom, will you?
I'm ready.
grace
I
us
never
with
thought
another
I'd
one?
share something like this, but this is sing the praises of rebel corporations. Ever since Ukraine, ever since the Supreme Court went fascist, this is singing their praises. Now that bodily autonomy is banned in half the ununited states again, it is up to businesses and corporations to care for their employees when it comes to health issues. Now sing the praises of Uber and Lyft, who will cover expenses for their employees. Same with Tesla, Meta, and Bumble, not forgetting AT&T and Dick's Sporting Goods. We saw McDonald's withdraw from Russia. Nike followed suit, as did Kentucky Fried. Is this the dawning of compassionate conservatism, when corporations start caring for their employees as well as the cultural climate they find themselves within? Markets matter less than human beings. Support these wise and prescient corporations. Unbelievable, but they're doing something good. What went wrong? So,
All right.
I like your stuff,
Very nice.
Tom.
oh, thank you so much, Roy. I really enjoy your music too, and the wit. I'm only halfway there.
Wit. Hmm. I've always admired wit in others. I don't think I'm.
Oh, you have a cheeky smile to go with it too. It's great. So here he is.
So, I'm going to do something daring. I usually regret it when I do something daring on these things, but the song just came to mind. It's an Irish American song, and I haven't heard it in a long time, and I have never played it. so we'll see what I can do with it here. Okay. Whoa. Well, every morning at 7 o'clock, there's 20 terriers a-waiting at the dock, and the boss comes along and he says, keep still and come down heavy on the cast iron drill. Saw drill, you terriers, drill. Drill, you terriers, drill. Yeah, there's... For it's work all day for the sugar in your tea down behind the railway. Saw drill, you terriers, drill and blast and fire. Our foreman is old Dan McCann, but I'll tell you, sure he's a blaming man. Last week a premature blast went off, and a mile in the air went Big Jim Goff. And drill, ye terriers, drill and blast and fire. Next time the payday comes around, Jim Goff was short $1 he found. What for, he asked, and then this reply, you're docked for the time you was up in the sky. So drill, you terriers, drill. Drill, you terriers, drill. For it's work all day for the sugar in your tea. Down beyond the railway. So drill, ye terriers, drill and blast and fire. boss was a fine man down to the ground. He married a lady 6 foot around. She baked good bread and she baked it well, but she baked that bread just as hard as hell. So drill, you terriers, drill. Get through that crust, you know. Drill, you terriers, drill, for it's work all day for the sugar in your tea. Down beyond the railway, there it is. So drill, you terriers, drill, and blast and fire.
There's working class for you.
That's great. Actually, I always heard it was an American folk song, and I just checked, and it is. It was written by two
This
Irish
is
sounding.
what I said. It was an Irish-American folk song.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I mean, it's pretty definitely got some Irishness in it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
well, what did you find out?
It's written by, is an American folk song first published in 1888 and attributed to Thomas Casey and later to Charles Connolly. Irish names. The song is a work song and makes reference to the construction of the American railroads in the mid-19th century. There you go.
Anyway, that was fun.
That was great.
A few sour cards here and there, but I seem to get through it okay, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a nice minor key in that Drilly Terriers.
Yeah, well, minor keys for miners, and of course they weren't miners actually. They were railway. They were more like John Henry, you know,
Right.
the Irish John Henry.
That's a good line where the John Guff was blowing a mile high and Doc Pay for the time he was in the air. I like that.
Yeah, right. Which reminds me kind of the long one about the poor what is it? Patty's not at work today, where
Oh yes, that's a
he
very,
gets
very
on
funny.
the wrong side of the bricks falling down.
And if you follow it, it actually kind of half-assed it makes sense, but he should have let go of the rope.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, David, are you still with us? Hello, David. Well, I think Polachek's is briefly checked out, so let's go around.
Gone to get another instrument or something.
Yeah, let's go around to Rory again, and if Dave comes back, we'll give him a turn.
And back on the pipes. This time we're going to play a lullaby. We have lullabies and bagpipes. I know it sounds contradictory, but it does work. Kids go to sleep because it doesn't have a volume change, and you can't stop it once it's going. So kids just it's a steady sound, and they go to sleep like nobody's business. The pipes. So it's going to be a lullaby called the Highland Cradle Song, and another one is that we're going to play after that is called The Meeting of the Waters, which is a very old tune. As we say in piping, it's 90% tuning and 10% playing.
pass the audition.
That was great. And so now Dave's back. Would you like to do a tune? We skipped over you for a moment, but
Understandable. Yeah. By the way, great piping. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, David.
So this is a song of an Irish song of immigration. I don't know what the policy is, but you might want to count this as 2 turns because the song's got 9 verses. And I don't feel like leaving out any. It's called The Green Fields of Canada.
There's not that many of us. Don't worry about a long song.
Sorry, David, what's the name of the song?
The Green Fields of Canada.
Canada? Where the hell is that?
Fare thee well to the land of shillelagh and shamrock, where many's the long day in great pleasure I have spent. Farewell to the friends that I leave here behind me, to live in old Ireland if they are content. Now it's sorry I am for to leave this green island, whose cause I supported in peace and in war. But to live here in bondage, I never could be happy. Oh, the green fields of Canada are sweeter by far. Farewell to the groves of the sweet county Wicklow. Farewell to the wee girls of Ireland all round. May their hearts be as merry as ever I would wish them, when far, far away across the ocean I'm bound. So pack up your sea stores, consider no longer. $10 a week isn't very bad pay, with no taxes or tithes to devour up your wages, when you're on the green fields of America. No longer I'll stay in this land of oppression, and no cruel landlord shall rule over me. To the land of sweet liberty I will bid good morrow. In the green fields of Canada, it's there I'll be free. Oh, who would stay here midst the want and starvation, to hear the poor children crying out for their bread, and so many of the people who without habitation, left to die in a field without a roof over their head. Oh, my father is old, and my mother is quite feeble. To leave their own country 'twould grieve their hearts sore. Oh, the tears in great drops from their cheeks they are rolling, to think I must die upon some foreign shore. But what matter to me where my bones may be buried, if in peace and contentment I can spend my life? Oh, the green fields of Canada, they daily are beckoning. It's there I'll put an end to my miseries and strife. The sheep go unshorn, and the land's gone to rushes. The handyman is gone, and the winders of creels. Away across the ocean go journeyman tailors, and fiddlers that flaked out the old mountain reels. But I mind the time when old Ireland was flourishing, when lots of her tradesmen could work for good pay. But since our manufactories have crossed the Atlantic, it's there we must follow to America. Farewell to the dances in homes now deserted, when tips struck the lightning in sparks from the floor. The paving and crigging of hobnails on flagstones, the tears of the old folk and shouts of encore. For the landlords and bailiffs in vile combination have forced us from hearthstone and homestead away. May the crowbar brigade be all doomed to damnation when we're on the green fields of America. Our ship, she is sailing from fair Derry harbor to take us and bring us far over the main, with good fortune to guide us and heaven to guard us till we reach the green fields of America. So come to the land where we can be happy, and don't be afraid of the storm or the sea, for when we get over, we will surely discover that this is the homeland of sweet liberty. There's gin in New Brunswick at a shilling a bottle. There's ale in Toronto at a penny a glass. There is wine in the town that they call Montreal, boys, and the devil be with us if we don't take a glass. So lift up your glasses, gay lads and gay lasses. There's gold for the winning and lots of it too. Good luck to the hearts that have courage to wander, and misfortune to those who would chide us adieu. The anchor is weighed and our ship now is sailing. Farewell to old Ireland, I'm now going away. My Mary, she has left both her father and mother, and with me she will cross o'er the wide stormy wave. And it's now to conclude and to finish my ditty. If a friendless Irishman chances my way, with the best in the house, I will treat him and welcome him at home on the green fields of America. That's it.
The song is amazing. It's only anticipation. It's all about getting on the boat. Nothing after.
Well,
Didn't even get there.
he had high hopes.
He did.
And,
I guess that's what that's all about. That's what the song
Yeah,
is.
that's right. It's
Apple
about
pie in the sky hopes. Yeah.
Remember that ad for ketchup?
rolling the dice.
Anticipation.
It's about rolling the dice and saying anything's got to be better than here.
Well, we're all in great anticipation of hearing Rory give us another tune. How about it?
I jumped the queue
Oh,
because
that's right. I forgot.
for David's absence.
So Marianne is up next, and
Jane.
we'll have
Mary
to
Jane will
hold
be.
on to our
How
anticipation for
many
another
years
round.
have you known me? Somebody's been calling me Mary Beth at one of my other groups.
Mary Beth?
Yeah. He says, well, there's this lady at church.
I
named
don't
Mary
think
Beth."
Terry heard. He said Mary Ann.
I
And,
heard him say
yeah, and I heard him,
Did
but
I
he
really?
didn't.
Oh my God.
And so that's why
I'm
Mary
just
Jane's
not
going on
top of
about
it
how long
today.
has he known me?
We've known each other for years.
A long time. I really don't know how long. Maybe. Yeah.
But I'm
There's
just
also-
a very small influence in your life.
Mary Beth
Of
Grazier
course.
is a friend too.
Well, anyway, I do have a song, and it's called "The Minstrel Boy," and it's a pretty well-known song too. It's by Thomas Moore. The words and the traditional Irish tune is called the Maureen, and I've only found two verses that were really by Thomas Moore, but "Rise Again," the songbook that I frequently use as a reference, provided a third verse, and they said it was from the American Civil War. So I thought, well, what could be better than to have an Irish song and then throw in something from the American Civil War, since tomorrow is St. Patrick's. I mean, what do we call this? 4th of July, yeah. Anyway, it's not a bad verse, and it's kind of about peace. So considering that Rise Again is a songbook put together by Quakers, I would definitely expect to find a peaceful verse in there. So anyway, it's I guess that's all I have to say about this song. Let me do that again. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp flung behind him. Land of song, cried the warrior born, though all the world betrays thee. One sword at least thy right shall guard, one faithful harp shall praise thee. The minstrel fell, but the foeman's chain could not bring that proud soul unto. The harp he loved never spoke again, for he tore its cords asunder, and said, no chains shall sully thee, thou soul of love and bravery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery.
Another fine folk standard.
Yeah, well, no songs of Irish independence would be complete without that.
That's true.
Yeah, it was about
It's a
written
classic.
for the Irish uprising of 1798.
So, Tom,
Except
it
for
is
the
your
last.
turn.
Thank you, sir. This week is NAIDOC week in Australia, which is to bring out native culture, Indigenous culture. And when it comes to films, I don't think many of you have seen any films by Aborigines as yet. But here's the story. At the beginning of modern Indigenous films, apologies are given for any representation of non-living Aborigines. So few films deal with representation of the original inhabitants of this timeless land that you might be forgiving for not knowing Samson and Delilah, the Cannes Film Festival winner, 10 Canoes, the AFI Award for Best Movie, Jeddah, The House of the Spear, Moranea, or that documentary, I, the Aborigine. You may have heard of David Gulpilpil, perhaps seen The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Walkabout, The Barbaroo, Rabbit-Proof Fence, but most Australian films deal with English-speaking history with American marketing. Our homemade colonial stories began with Ned Kelly, The Sentimental Bloke, On Our Selection, Gallipoli, 40,000 Horsemen, Breaker Morant, Sunday Too Far Away, Wake in Fright, Picnic at Hanging Rock, Tracks, The Proposition, High Tide. We had Australian white directors reflecting our brief history here, Man from Snowy River, Newsfront, and many foreign movies were made with Australia as a backdrop, from Mission Impossible, On the Beach, The Sundowners. Local independent features filled our local eyes, Chopper, Romper Stomper, The Castle, Bad Boy, Bubby, but co-productions allowed Mad Max to franchise internationally and Baz Luhrmann to go from Strictly Ballroom to Moulin Rouge to Australia and now to Elvis. Small hits like The Piano and Muriel's Wedding led to the worldwide distribution of Crocodile Dundee and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. But as in the start of 10 Canoes, Indigenous storytellers share, I want to tell you a story. It is not your story. It is my story. But before I share my story, I need to show you how to make a canoe. And that's how they start the film. For 15 minutes, they show you how to make your own canoe so you can survive.
Oh, that's great.
It's a great film.
Thank you for
I've
that
seen a good
brief
number
history
those
of
films.
Australian cinematography.
Yeah, it's partial because of time, but it's astonishing how little reflects Indigenous culture. It's all imported images. Like the artists from England, they painted English paintings when they came to Australia because they couldn't deal with the landscape being so totally different.
Yeah.
So that was then. This is now. Thank you. I got to go to another reading, but thank you so much for being so accepting of divergence in the middle of folk traditions. Very grateful. So joy till the next time.
You're going to miss my long English folk song here, though. Okay, I don't know how I get away with singing English songs in these Celtic sessions, but it's kind of what I know. It's what I know. Okay. So this is a bit long. You'll excuse me, I hope. So there's only 4 of us. We've got a lot of time. One misty morning, and cloudy was the weather. I chanced upon an old man, all clothed all in leather. He had no aid. He clothed all in leather, with a cap beneath his chin, singing howdy do and howdy do and howdy do again. This rustic was a thresher, as on his way he hied, and with the leather bottle fast buckled by his side. He bore no shirt upon his back, but wool unto his skin, singing howdy do and howdy do. Excuse me. Howdy do again. I walked on a little further, and there I met a maid, a-going off a milking, sir, she said. Then I began to compliment, and she began to sing, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, how'd you do her name. This maid, her name was Dolly, clothed in gown of gray. I, being somewhat jolly, persuaded her to stay, and straight I fell to courting her, and hopes her love to win, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, and how'd you do again. I having time and leisure, I spent a vacant hour a-telling of my treasure while sitting in the bower. And with many kind embraces I stole her double chin, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, and how'd you do again. I said that I would marry Bee, and she would be my bride, as long as we should not tarry, and 20 things beside. I'll plow and sow and reap and mow, and you shall sit and spin, singing howdy do, and howdy do again. Oh, did you know my father? The damsel then replied. His jerkin was of leather, bottle by his side. Yes, I did meet him trudging as fast as he could win, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, and how'd you do again. Kind sir, I have a mother beside the father still, those friends above all others you must win and ask goodwill. For if I would be undutiful to them would be a sin, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, how'd you do again. Now there we left the milk pail, and to her mother went, and when I would come hither, I asking her consent, and off my hat and made my leg, for why she was within, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, how'd you do again. Adjust my lyrics here. My husband is a thresher, who is her father dear. He'll give her his blessing, kind sir, you need not fear. He is of such good fortune that he would never win, singing how'd you do, and how'd you do, how'd you do again. For by your courteous carriage, you seem an honest man, you may have her in marriage, my husband. He and I'm not getting these verses right, but did you very welcome Alas, alas, he could not choose her mother being Mary. She told him of the news. Then he was mighty jovial to his son. His son did soon begin singing how'd you do and how'd you do and how'd you do again. Her parents then consented. All parties were agreed. Her portion 30 shillings. Remarried with all speed. Then Will the piper he did play whilst others dance and sing, singing how'd you do and how'd you do and how'd you do again. In pleasant recreation they passed away the night. Likewise by relation with her he takes delight to walk abroad on holidays and visit kith and kin, singing how'd you do and how'd you do again. Then lusty Ralph and Robin with many damsels gay did ride on Roan and Dublin to celebrate the day. And when they met together their caps did off did fling, singing how'd you do and how'd you do again. And they all lived happily ever after.
You get the endurance contest award.
No, I think you get the endurance contest award. And with that, we're back around to Dave.
This is an American version of a song that's from England. And the version that I know, I learned from a Arkansas ballad singer named Ollie Gilbert. She called it Pretty Polly. And the way she sang it, there's a lot, the setting appears to be the American Revolution. Down in some lone valley, pretty Polly did dwell. She was courted by a captain who loved her so well. Her father and mother came this for to know, and they parted pretty Polly in her own true love. As Polly lay musing on the bed, a very strange notion came through Polly's head. She went to her father's stable and she viewed them all round, and she picked out a horse that could travel the ground. But first a waistcoat she put on. To every degree she looked like a man, with a brace and a pistol all hung by her side. Like a United States soldier, pretty Polly did ride. She rode till she come to the town, and there she put up at the sign of the Crown. The first one she met was an English old lord. The next was the captain, pretty Polly's true love. What news from my country? What news do I hear? She handed him a letter from Polly, oh dear. He opened the letter, 10 pennies he found, saying Polly is a soldier with the men all around. Now Polly being weary, she hung down her head. She called for a candle to light her to bed. The captain said, sir, take a bed at my ease, and you may lie with me, kind sir, if you please. To lie with the captains, to lie with the king. I'm a United States soldier, from George Washington I came. I'll fight for my liberty on sea or on land. If you'll be my captain, I'll be your command. Now Polly is married, she lives at her ease. She goes when she gets ready, returns when she please. She left her old parents to weep and to mourn, saying, Polly, pretty Polly, when will you return?
Wow, I had completely forgotten that song. I think I heard it from Ollie Gilbert, but I haven't thought about it in a long time. Thank you for
That's
bringing
great.
it back.
Great job of it.
Thank you, thank you.
So, Rory, would you like to do another?
I'm going to do another Burns song. I'm sure you've heard it, but it's a great tune. Great tune called Aphon Kiss. And it's concerns, well, we've discussed Burns' ability and love of women and their love for him. Mrs. McElhose was the object of his affections on this one. By all accounts, she was a great beauty. She had a bounder of a husband who was a spendthrift and a cheater and just a lousy guy. But she had given her vows, so she couldn't do anything about it. But they met over a period of about a year, maybe about 6 or 7 times. And all I can imagine is the room being filled with incredible sexual tension that was never to be fulfilled. And eventually, as she said, this can't go on. And he left, and this is the song he wrote for it, because he was nuts about her. He was nuts about a lot of women, but he was, at this time, what's that line from Phineas Rambo? When I'm not near the girl I love the girl I'm near. I don't know, a bit like that. A fond kiss, and then we sever. A farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee. Warring sighs. Tell you what I'm going to do. It's just a bit low for me. I'm going to bump it up. Bear with me. A fond kiss, and then we sever. A farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee. Warring sighs and groans I'll wage thee. Who shall say that fortune grieves him, while the star of hope she leaves him? Mean a cheerful twinkle lights me, dark despair around benights me. I'll ne'er blame my partial fancy, nothing could resist my Nancy, but to see her was to love her, love but her and love forever. Had we never loved, say kindly, love, say blindly, never met or never parted, had we ne'er been broken hearted. Fare thee will, thou first and fairest, fare thee will, thou best and dearest, thy be ilka joy and treasure, peace, enjoyment, love, and pleasure. A fond kiss, and there we sever, a farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, warring sighs and groans I'll wage thee.
That's great.
That's one of my favorite Burns songs.
Beauty.
Okay. Mary Phyllis, Mary Wives of Windsor? No. Mary Jane, please.
I think you hit a big score with Mary Phyllis.
This one's Johnny Has Gone for a Soldier, and it's got the traditional Irish tune, Shú la Rún, from the 17th century. And I always thought of it as an Irish song, as far as, it's about a woman whose boyfriend has gone off to war and left her behind. She doesn't even know where he is, but she's devoted to him. So anyway, I consider it an Irish song, and it is about a soldier. So it fits the criteria that I was looking for this series of songs. So let's see. With fife and drum he for dead. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Oh, my baby, oh, my love, gone the rainbow, gone the dove. Your father was my only love. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Shuli, shula, shula, gra. Shura, shura, he loves me. When he comes back, he'll marry me. Johnny has gone for a soldier.
Ah, yes, that's a wonderful song, and you did it quite well.
Yeah, you got the right amount of
After
pathos
I
in
figured
there.
out I was in the wrong key.
Maybe that's why it
didn't even
was.
notice that.
I'd keep that.
The start of it, I wasn't singing in the right key, but I was playing the chords, the only chords I had.
Okay, I guess I can still play this one. You know, in this era of fake news, it's always reassuring to know that you can look to the folk tradition for the true and verifiable factual stories like this one. Oh, when that I was shipwrecked and driven from the shore, and all that I had to go around the country to explore was me right polarity, whack polarity, chuck polarity day. I'll get a little oiled up here in time. Well, steering up the other side, I found a crocodile. From the tip of his nose to the end of his tail, he was 10,000 miles. With me right polarity, track polarity, chuck polarity day. I bore away from his head one day with every inch stitch of sail, and going 9 knots by the log in 10 months reached his tail. With me right polarity, chuck polarity day. Well, the wind was blowing hard and blowing from the south. Oh. I missed a verse, sorry. And it's important because you lose the plot here. Okay, the crocodile, you see, was not of the common race, for I had to get up a mighty tall tree to look into his face. With me right polarity, whack polarity, chuck polarity day. Oh, the wind was blowing hard and blowing from the south. The tree had broken down, I fell into that crocodile's mouth. With me right polarity, whack polarity, chuck polarity day. crocodile, he set his mouth, and he thought he had his victim. But I went down his throat, you see, and that is how I tricked him with me whack polarity, right polarity, chuck polarity day. I roamed about his throat until I found his maw, and there, that, not his mother, but his maw, you know. And there was bullocks' heads and hearts, they're laid up by the score with me right polarity, crack polarity, chuck polarity day. Well, the crocodile was getting old, and shortly after dying, it took me 6 months, 42 days to work a hole up through his side with me right polarity, whack polarity, chuck polarity day. Come all you fellas, come listen to me. Come all you fellas and listen to me if you ever travel the Nile, 'cause that is where I'll tell you you'll see the shit. This is the last verse if I can only get through it. 'Tis where I tell you you shall see the shell of the wonderful crocodile. That's easy for you to say. With me right polarity, whack polarity, chuck polarity day.
Some pretty good comic timing in there, Mr. Sir. I like that a lot.
Well, you know, those verses.
This song.
He thought he found his victim, but I went down his throat, you see, and that is how I tricked him. I love that. And I think that was collected by Ruth Crawford Seeger in her, you know, one of her books of children's songs. But I'm not sure where I got that. So, actually, friends, I think that will be the last piece from me for today, because I'm under a time constraint. But I want you guys to feel free to just hang around and keep singing as long as you would like to.
I may take the opportunity to depart as well, because it's later up here than where you guys are.
Okay. So
I've got to prepare dinner and go on to another site at 8 o'clock our time tonight. That's 7 o'clock your time. It's called Fat Albert's Coffee House, and it's been open since the 1960s.
So thanks for staying up for us. So that leaves Mary, Dave, and Jane. So if you guys want to hang around and trade some songs with each other, I'll make one of you the host and tootle along.
I don't think we really need to worry about that if there's just two of us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, can you give us the farewell song, Dave, before we?
Well, what do you think, Mary Jane? Should we wrap it up?
Well, I've got at least one more song, and
well, why don't you sing that?
Probably scrounge out another one.
Why don't you sing that, and then I'll sing The Parting Glass. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hang around for that.
I'll take off. See you guys.
Thank you, Rory. Good to see you.
Okay, well, this is The Wearing of the Green, and it seems like an appropriate song about the Irish struggle for independence. They're certainly complaining about the English a lot in this song. So, here goes. Oh, Patty dear, I bet you hear the news that's going round. The dear old Ireland, and how does she stand? She's the most distressful country that you have ever seen. They're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. They're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green. Then since the color we must wear is England's cruel red, sure Ireland's sons will ne'er forget the blood that they have shed. You may take the shamrock from your hat and cast it on the sod, but 'twill take root and flourish there, though underfoot 'tis trod. My father loved his country and sleeps within its breast, while I that would have died for her must never so be blessed. Those tears my mother shed for me, how bitter they had been, if I had proved a traitor to the wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. If I had proved a traitor to the wearing of the green. But if at last our colors should be torn from Ireland's heart, her sons in shame and sorrow from the dear old Ireland's heart, I heard a whisper of a land that lies beyond the sea, where rich and poor stand equal in the light of freedom's day. Oh, Ireland, must we leave you, driven by a tyrant's hand, and seek a mother's blessings from a strange and distant land, where the cruel cross of England shall never more be seen, and in that land we'll live and die, still wearing Ireland's green. The wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. In that land we'll live and die, still wearing Ireland's green. When laws can stop the blades of grass from growing as they grow, and when the leaves in summertime their color dare not show, then I will change the color to I wear in my coffee. Until that day, please God, I'll stick to the wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. The wearing of the green. Until that day, please God, I'll stick to the wearing of the green.
Yay!
Very fine,
Good one.
Yeah.
So I guess we're ready to wrap. It's been a nice session. I enjoyed it. Happy Independence Day to everybody. And it's the parting glass. Oh, all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company. And all the harm that I ever did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, if I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town, who sorely has my heart beguiled. A rosy cheek and ruby lip, I own she has my heart in thrall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts I ever knew, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll softly rise and I'll gently call, good night and joy be with you all. I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. It's happy to meet and sorry to part.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dave and Mary Jane. We'll see you again soon.
Okay.
Bye now.
So long.